Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, we are delighted and honored to welcome you here at our annual and traditional May conference by Let's Talk Mgimo. But of course, as usual, before we start, let's go back to the beginning of our story. One day we decided to make something similar to the model of, TED Talks events here in Mgimo. And one by one, we collected the team of speakers, each of whom had a word to say, and it was wonderful. There were very different presentations, different topics, different causes for concern. It was unique. And since then, it has become the tradition of our university. Of course, today's conference is not an exception, despite the fact that this one was probably the most anticipated, as all of you know. But well, let me introduce myself. My name is Maria Popova, and I am the first-year student of the International Journalism faculty, and I am, of course, lucky enough to be here and be a presenter. So are you ready to be shocked, amazed, and excited by our wonderful speakers? Then, let's talk. As we all know, the most popular and probably successful movie of the previous year was Barbie. All of you know that the problem of gender equality, male-female equality, and women's rights and values was widely discussed there. You'll ask me how is it connected with our first speaker, and I will answer that Arina Azimova, our first wonderful speaker, has prepared a presentation on the role of women in modern society. She will help us to draw the image of today's ideal woman. So Arina, welcome. The floor is yours.
It's a little nervous to be the first, but I'll try to do my best. So, nowadays, in our modern world, with the slightest effort, you can find instructions on how to live properly, how you should look and how you should talk, how you should behave in order to please people around you. Society has created a picture of an ideal woman with perfect body and pretty face, strong enough to deal with problems, but weak enough to charm men, ambitious, motivated, but homely and calm, experienced and confident, but restrained and humble. Women are blindly trying to conform to the image imposed on them by the society, losing their identity, losing their individuality, and becoming similar to each other. However, there are from 3 to 12 archetypes of a woman described by numerous psychologists and in a huge amount of books. And it is really important to remember that each of the archetype is valuable, beautiful, and attractive in its own way. It is really important to understand which of the archetypes is closer to you and not try to replace it with not your one, but imposed by society, not your true archetype, but probably someone else's. Today we'll have a look on 3 main archetypes of a woman, and the first one is the archetype of wife. Women with this archetype are gentle, caring, and loyal, capable of long-term relationships, generous and very strong, despite their kindness and gentleness. They are definitely women with a core. They can be jealous, possessive, but hardly get out of a long-term relationship. On this slide, you can see the expression in style. We use the example of Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. As you can see, she prefers really feminine, restrained outfits without huge amount of bright details. And now I'll show you a short video. It is a part of a movie called Before the Sunrise. And the main character in this movie, called Celine, she's a bright representative of a wife archetype. The second archetype we're going to talk about today is the archetype of seductress. On the slide you can see women whose characters are the bright representatives of this archetype. These women have a subtle sense of beauty and pleasure. They are often too impulsive and do not think about the consequences of their actions. Men adore them, but often at some stage of their lives, they experience difficulties in building long-term relationships. If we're talking about expression and style, Kendall Jenner is a bright representative. As you see, she prefers more provocative, brighter outfits than the previous ones. And now we'll see a short video with expression of the archetype. The last archetype we're going to talk about today is the archetype of a warrior. These people are brave and ambitious, independent, but sometimes not in a really good way because they may be too independent. They are excellent strategists. They can be ruthless sometimes. It may sometimes be difficult for them to express themselves in a classic femininity because either they feel uncomfortable with it or forbid themselves to do it at all. And if we're talking about expression and style, here are a few examples of Zendaya's outfits, which are quite unusual and more extraordinary than the previous ones. And now the expression and video. It is enough to realize and recognize one or another archetype, as it will open up in us and give us access to all the resources and emotions hidden in it. Okay, guys, we have prepared a little test for you, which will help you to understand which archetype is closer to you. But please, I ask you very much to do it a little later because it will take quite lots of time, which we don't have right now. Now we have to continue. It is wonderful that a woman potentially has all the archetypes inside herself. This means that every woman has the access to all the resources and all the emotions different archetypes can give a woman. This helps a woman to realize herself as fully as possible with the greatest satisfaction. Unfortunately, due to restrictions in upbringing, sometimes due to cultural features and the influence of environments and society, some of the archetypes may remain inactive in a woman throughout her life. Nevertheless, it is really important to understand and to remember that the main power of a woman is in recognition of her true nature, of her deep desires, and in letting herself to relieve these desires of her soul firstly into this life. Every woman can combine different archetypes, revealing the qualities of each of them, depending on the situation, mood, and condition. It is good, and women must remember that they can and they should be different in different situations and in different life stages. Only in this case, they will have an opportunity to live a deep and eventful life. So let's return to our topic. What a woman should be like in a modern society. The answer is actually really easy. In order to become happy, a woman should come to her real self, behave relaxed and naturally, without pointless attempts to falsely impress someone or to conform to someone's ideals. She should just be herself. Only in this case, she will have an opportunity to attract people who will truly love her and to create a life in which she will be truly happy. If you want the points, here they are. A woman should be loving herself, striving for self-confidence without confirmation from the outside, relaxed, and giving herself the opportunity not to take on too much responsibility for this whole world. In conclusion, I would like to remind you guys that every woman has the seeds of all the archetypes inside herself. Being aware of them, letting herself to relieve all of her desires into this world, she gives herself a chance to live a deep and eventful life. The acceptance of your feminine nature, both whole and different and various at the same time, you give yourself a support which a woman needs to feel happy and whole. Because the best way to feel happy is to be yourself. Nowadays, it is the biggest, rarest, and at the same time, it is the most affordable luxury. Before I leave today, I wanted to share with you guys that while speaking today, I was imagining little me sitting in front of me. So she always believes her dreams and always trusts herself, as I really hope all of you guys will do. Thank you for your attention.
We would like to thank Arina for such a beautiful, wonderful and sweet beginning. I'm sure that you yourself represent what a woman in modern society should be like. Thank you. Especially thank you for Zendaya's outfits. So we are moving further to our next speaker, and as a student of international journalism, I'm well aware of the importance of such skill as critical thinking. And we live in the age when information is everything, when information is our currency, food, I don't know, the key to all the doors and locks, I suppose. And of course, in order to overcome all the challenges of our digital era and to distinguish some fakes from true facts, we need to be very attentive and to think critically. And Gасан Kurbanchiev is ready to tell us more about the secrets of skeptical thinking.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Sorry. I wanted, firstly, to present myself. My name is Gасан Kurbanchiev. I'm a second-year student of International Economic Relations faculty. I'm about to talk about critical thinking, but let's start with a quick test. Some of you might know this, some of you might not know this, but let's check. So you're about to choose a president of your country. You have 3 candidates. So the first one associates with word healers, consults with astrologists, has multiple love affairs, chain smokes every day, and drinks martinis every day. Very nice person. The second one sleeps until noon, also used opium in his college times, drinks brandy every single afternoon. And the third one is a decorated war hero, a globalist and a vegetarian, doesn't smoke, has an occasional beer. So who would you choose? Probably The third, okay, yeah. The third is an optimal, right? So the first one is Roosevelt, the second one is Winston Churchill, and the third one is Adolf Hitler. Yeah, you might have thought that you wouldn't need any additional information, but that's the importance of critical thinking. The more comprehensible example is me, right? Some of you might see me or hear me for the first time. And my speech and my appearance are the only things or only metrics you can judge me by. So let's imagine that's the first time you see me. Some of you might say, he's tall, young, Caucasian, right? Sultan wants to say that I'm attractive, thank you. Some of you also say that I'm charismatic. But applying critical thinking, actually in this case, you don't need to apply critical thinking because all the things I've said are right. They perfectly describe me. Let's continue. So critical thinking in our rapidly changing world is very important. It's the practice of questioning and scrutinizing beliefs, claims, and evidence. It's about approaching information with a critical eye. What's that important about it? For example, Albert Einstein famously said, we can solve the problems using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Thus, you should apply critical thinking towards the problems in order to solve them. Here is the quick example of famous BLM movement and their executives stealing tens of millions of dollars. That's only one article. So BLM was not only about African American community, was it? It was more about fraudery and other things. So if people who supported this idea would not blindly comply and accept everything what they say, they could save millions of dollars in donations. Keep going. So critical thinking is more important nowadays, but we have different examples throughout whole our history. And starting off the Enlightenment period in Europe between 17th and 18th century, where such people as René Descartes and Voltaire championed reason, critical thinking, which allowed further development in such spheres as philosophy, science. They pushed us to develop not only intellectually, but spiritually and from a philosophical standpoint. But let's dive back into early 2000s, the famous events of Iraq invasion. You will see a clip of Jeff Bush a bit later, but firstly I want to say that Iraq invasion started from Iraqi authorities allegedly have VMD, weapons of mass destruction, and their connections to terroristic groups. So what happened after 9/11 attacks, American citizens and the media of collective West, let's say, championed the idea of invasion in Iraq, which caused millions and millions of deaths within civilians, and mass media at that time called them just casualties, only casualties. If only American citizens and let's say citizens of collective West would apply critical thinking, they would probably save lives, save country, because now Iraq is devastated, and would not have to apologize for such a mistake, because apology isn't always enough. Here is Jeff Bush. So keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is the younger brother of the person who was all about invasion in Iraq, George Bush Jr. Yeah, on a hot topic, ladies and gentlemen, the case of Andrew Tate. Some of you might know this, some of you might don't know this, but this is a famous influencer, and he was wrongly put in prison. Some of you think he was rightfully put in prison. Yeah, I see some smiles, but do your own research. That's the thing. That's the thing about critical thinking. It's a powerful reminder how you can easily fall a prey to a mass media and cancel mob mentality in our days without making your own research, without applying critical thinking. Last but not least is the basic description of how critical thinking skill mindset works. So the first one is curiosity, I would say. You have to be curious at the topic, check the validity of the information you get, compare it to different information, different sources of information. Of course, make your information research by your own, not only apply on media or other authorities. Be consistent and systematic at that, because it's easily to miss something and be a prey of media or matrix attacks, as Andrew Tate says. And using different sources of information, you can easily find a way from difficult situations and solve problems or have a strong opinion on different subjects. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Gasan. But guys, there is a problem. All of you just look too serious. I'm asking you to smile, firstly because we are making reels here and we need to make those reels beautiful. And secondly, because our next speaker will tell about following your dreams. So please, at least try to do it. To smile, I mean. The exams are coming soon, deadlines, tests, everything. And sometimes it may seem endless and even lead to some mental or psychological breakdowns. Actually, there is an answer to this feeling when you are just turned inside out. And this answer is hope and your dreams. And Oraz Ataев will tell us how to keep following them.
Thank you. Good afternoon, champions. Thank you for coming here. So, guys, what is this? Yeah, you're right. So, I'm a bit of nervous, but it's okay. So let's start. September, October, November, December, 2018, Spain. Being honest, I don't even remember how the month passed, but I definitely remember one thought. I want to finish. I'm tired and it's not fair. Have you had that moment when you already decided to give up? But suddenly, some piece of faith, a grain of hope made you go on. I'm Oraz Ataев and I'm third year students of Faculty International Relations. And you know what? Guys, today I want none of you to leave this place without hope in your heart. Imagine a big ship that has the most important things on it. When it's sailing, it moves from side to side, tempting you to turn around and go back. But it has the final destination inside my head. And the same thing happened in my life. At the age of 14, I moved away from home, from my family, and challenged myself. But at that time, I had already played for my national team of my country, Turkmenistan. And as I will tell you now, I had also troubles on my way, like injuries, psychological problems, loss of motivation, difficult decisions, and working in a team, which is very important. But this important thing, my dream to become a professional football player, kept and continues to keep me on my way. At the age of 7, I started playing football. At 12, I had already played for my country's youth team. At 14, I moved to Spain. At 18, I made my debut for for the national team of my country, as I said before. But then something went wrong, and right now I'm here, talking about my personal experience at Mgimo. In 2014, Snapchat, guys. Yeah, then I will share my link to the Snapchat. In 2014, I went to Barcelona. I went to Barcelona, yeah, and studied the language for about 6 months. Imagine 6 months only learning Spanish, because I came there with zero knowledge. And imagine an ordinary Turkmen guy from Turkmenistan went to Barcelona, following his dream. Yeah, where there are millions of players like me. And to succeed, you have to be way above other players. But at that time, I've always been the tallest in my team. But it turned out that my height of 191, it wasn't enough. But okay, yeah. For many people, it is hard to train even once a week. I spent 7 years to go to Spain. And 3 years, which is almost 20,000 hours. 20,000 hours, guys. Think about it, 20,000 hours. 3 years to go to Spain. And to sign a contract with the professional Spanish club. Yeah. Thank you. And then my career almost ended. A week after the move, I tore a ligament. And imagine, 7 months without football, 7 months. I think that any sportsman can emphasize with me, as injuries often lead to a life devoid of purpose and meaning. It was difficult for me to watch others playing, while my best friend, who was always there to support me, became my therapist, my doctor, and my family behind phone. But my determination made me come back even stronger, because who I am, I'm a champion, yeah. So I became a player of Club Deportivo Lugo. Yeah. So it would seem that is my chance to prove myself and to show my best. But you know what? Life is not sweet, and the conflicts with the coaches, with my teammates, and playing different positions did not let me show my best. So a year after Lugo, I joined a new team, new club, named Cultural Deportivo Leonesa, from the same league, yeah. At first, to being honest, I made, first year in this club, there was very successful for me. So they offered me a new contract for another year. They extend my contract. So, second year in this club, there was a new coach, new teammates, everything was new. Everything was new, being honest. And in the second year, it was quite difficult because, as I said before, everything was new. And at first, I didn't play that much, but with time, my coach saw potential in me, and I started to play more, and more. And being honest, I aspired actually to put on a captain's armband. But instead of captain's armband, in a couple of months, I put on a mask, grabbed my passport, and flew back home. And you might ask, why, if everything was good? You started to play, everything was quite regular for you. But My answer will be it's because of COVID-19. COVID-19 sparked. As you now see, my life is full of unexpected turns and events. I thought that for a long time, what life was preparing me for. And after several years, I realized that it was for me to study here at Mgimo and to share this hall with you, speaking and talking about my personal experience and with these great guys. But despite the ship that was shaking me from side to side, I docked in Russia. I docked in Russia to continue my professional path, to overcome all the obstacles on my way. And so even as a student, I continue my career playing in the Russian Media League. So I continue to grow, gaining recognition and receiving the invitation to international tournaments, international events. For example, recently I took part in international multisport tournament named Games of the Future. In conclusion, guys, I would like to say that this is not the end of my story, but only the beginning. My goal today is to show that the path to the dream is not straight, and to stay on it, you need not only dream and love for your work, but also diligence and determination. So, I'm Oraz Ataев, and I still have faith in my heart. In this place, I have it. And that my ship will eventually reach its final destination. So, I want you to watch the video and just like focus and try to feel the emotions that football gives to you. And the second one. Каждый раз как первый раз. Oh, sorry. Okay. Summing up, I want to say that football for me is not just a game, it's a way of life. Thank you. Thank you for coming here. And never forget that hard work always pays off, and never give up. Thank you, guys. Кому?
No, this is the next speaker. Thank you so much. We thank Aras for such an inspiring performance, I would say. It was really beautiful. Thank you. Wish you good luck. And you know, the global issue of women's rights and values is to be continued right now. But I would say that our next speaker will look at this problem from a little bit another perspective. Sure, everyone knows that the problem of domestic violence is one of the biggest causes for concern. Therefore, Gula Gezalova, being a student of the international law faculty, did her own research and analyzed this problem really professionally. So now she's ready to share her discoveries and experiences with us.
I'm sure that I will not get the performance of Oraz, but I might try best. So, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that there are many girls here that felt fear when walking down the street and held the K in their hands as a way of protection. And I probably think and guess that guys here could heard in their lives unpleasant, dangerous stories from the lives of the girls. So my question is, why do we have to hear about it and go through it? Greetings to all dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gula Gezalova, and I'm a first year's master student at the Faculty of International Law with a criminal specialization. So, some of you may have seen my numerous reels, publications on Instagram, and know me only from this point of view, but which you can see on the screen now, by the way, and know me only from this point of view. But as we all know, there is two sides to a coin, and behind these funny videos and photos, publications, there is someone else. I closely interacted in the criminal sphere and started to connect my career to one of the law enforcement agencies. So definitely we face many various criminal cases, and the resolution of all cases is critical. So our legislation is very extensive and affects all aspects of our lives, so we can confidently protect our rights in many areas. But there's one issue that could not be finally resolved and eradicated not only in our country but throughout the world. So this is the infliction of physical violence against women. And in many countries, laws on domestic violence are weak in practice. And as a result, this creates gaps and weak protection mechanisms to protect the victims of violence. And women don't know where they can trust, where they can go and turn for help, and where they can just tell their stories, incidents of victims, incidents of violence, and they just afraid that they will not get the support. So please, guys, let's raise our hands who have heard about the tragic story and horrific crime of the brutal murder of Saltanat Nukianova by her husband, Kuandek Bishimbaev. Yes, has followed it as many expected. So this tragic incident occurred and took place with the context of domestic violence, and unfortunately he forbade her to see her family. He watched her every step, every breath. He closed off her from the whole world, and beating her in his brother's restaurant, he just killed her and tried to hide the evidence of his crime and tried to delete the videos from the cameras of his restaurant. And she faced physical and psychological crimes and violence. So and she didn't have the opportunity to have a protection due to the lack of social institution and due to the lack of social support. And this was one of the most important reasons why she could not defend herself. And during court hearings, which we can follow online, all of us can notice the gaps in the legislative level, and unfortunately the killer can defend himself calmly. And her tragic death highlights us that there is a need to create a social institution that can protect our rights, the rights of women and the rights of the girls and their children. So unfortunately, while we are all talking about these terrible events here, the world and the legislation don't stand still. On April 15, 2024, the president of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, signed the law about the protection of girls, women, and their children. This law adopted by the parliament, and it received the informal name Sultanate Law. But to my regret, this is not the first, not the one, and not the last case in our time. And just a couple of years ago, the horrific crime occurred in our country, and a young girl, Margarita Gracheva, was subjected to violence by her husband. Her husband took her to the forest in a planned manner, and out of jealousy, cut the girl's both hands. So such terrible crimes cannot go unpunished, and strict measures must be taken. After all, poor women are not sure that the same actions will not be repeated. And there are so much such examples, and they all push us to the one most important thing, that there's a need and in the creation of social institution, and these voices of victims must be heard. To effectively protect our girls, their children, women, they have to create a social institutions, social programs that will support victims of this violence. And the social institution will provide women and their children with temporary housing, with legal, medical, psychological assistance. Moreover, we can add to these social institutions educational programs about the violence, about the domestic violence, in order to effectively increase awareness of public in this problem and in this question. So the function can be based on the cooperation with medical institutions, with some agencies, and the function can be also, the fund can also give the educational programs to their children. So the creation of such social institution will be the big step in the way of protection our women. And please, let's say no to physical violence against women. Thank you.
Thank you, Gulia, for drawing our attention for such a global and difficult issue. And we are to continue. You know that the history of economics probably has begun since the first people appeared. And they just started exchanging their prey natural products, which later became known as goods, due to the development of modern marketing. And one day, they realized that they need to make this exchange process equal. So here is money. Easy. And what do we need to know to stay financially literate nowadays? And what are the most profitable forms of exchange today? Gor Казарян is ready to tell us everything.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I need this box. So, my name is Gor, and I'm a fourth-year student of International Journalism faculty. And today, I will tell you a little bit about finances. Have you ever wondered what money is? It's just a means of exchange and transactions that take place between us. We have agreed on its value. It's our common fantasy. So, let me start with a little interactions. I ask everyone who has a foreign currency to show me these bills and give it to me. Рубль нельзя. Very rich students here, I know. So, if you think that these currencies are the most efficient in the world, then no, you are wrong. This is all garbage. The most efficient currency in the world is Bitcoin. For those who don't know, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that was created in 2008 by an anonymous programmer under the nickname Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who he is. He's kind of Banksy of the internet. But I will talk about him later. So let's continue. In the last 20 years, we have started using electronic money. I personally pay for everything by card, even the cherry puer in Monte and so on. But e-money does not really belong to us. It's in the database of our banks, credit cards, or investment firms, and they all have the right to block it. In the digital world, money can get further and faster. So if we maybe remind that in past we have dealt with cash, and money has traveled with the speed of individual. But nowadays, in the digital world, the money can get further and faster. But only with the permission of organization. And I have a question. Please raise your hand those who have used Apple Pay or Samsung Pay, and now those who play Candy Crush and get coins for it in the game, and Aeroflot bonus, please. So many persons, yeah. They are all examples of digital assets, and these assets, unfortunately, don't really belong to you, but to the creator of the game, to Aeroflot or Apple Pay or the bank. And it's the opposite of the decentralized world. In a decentralized world, there is nobody owning your assets. We control them ourselves. And to understand how this so-called decentralization works, we need to understand what blockchain is. So the blockchain is the ability for all of us to transfer the information to another person without the need for an intermediary. And also that all transactions is transparent. And I will try to show it in a simple example. So imagine that I give you a piece of paper and you write down something on it. For example, the word hello. And then it magically appears on my piece of paper too. The way the blockchain works is that everyone here has a piece of paper with the same words hello, and each of you can see these words and these transactions. For example, if we talk about money. In the real life, of course, these examples of your transactions, yeah. In real life, all this information is not written on a piece of paper, of course, but with the computer code. And cryptocurrencies are the first step into the global programmable money. And this is the idea of introducing new financial instruments, completely new. And just as the internet has changed, we communicate, the cryptocurrency will change the way we pay by assigning and determining value. As for bank deposits, they are not needed in a decentralized world because there is a process called staking. You can stake any cryptocurrency for a certain amount of time, and you will get the percent and interest much higher than, for example, Sber or other banks can give you. Yeah, and personally, getting a good percentage from staking the second cryptocurrency in the world called Ethereum. Maybe some of us know this. And Ethereum was created by a Russian man, Vitaly Buterin. Maybe some of you know him from the Reels in Instagram, and I will show one of them. Yeah, here he is. This person has a lot of money, and he is a Forbes top 10 Forbes of the world. Let's see. So, yeah, top 10 Forbes. Many cryptocurrencies are similar to a real business, to a real company that stands behind the coin. And the great example is the popular and well-known messenger Telegram. And Telegram has their own cryptocurrency called Ton. And as we know, Telegram was created by Pavel Durov, one more Russian man in cryptocurrency world. And speaking about different coins, I came up with an interesting idea. What if we launch our own cryptocurrency of the university and call it, for example, Mgimo coin? Just like that. And imagine, every student will be able to pay for a coffee in Costa or books in Argument with the help of Mgimo coin. We will be even be able to tip Argus with this coin. Yeah. These coins will give the students the opportunity to pay their education, and students will receive these coins for merits to the university and success in studies. And I can already imagine some guys at the center opening an Mgimo coin exchange. Yeah. I think we should propose this idea to our rector. So, cryptocurrency and digital assets are already being used all around the world in everyday life. For example, such countries as Venezuela or El Salvador has the cryptocurrency as the state currency. And many companies like McDonald's or Amazon are using cryptocurrency to sell their services. Speed, transparency, and rapid development. These are the main qualities of cryptocurrency, and I believe that this is the future of finance. Many of you probably skeptical about cryptocurrency, I think, yeah. But maybe some of you are connected it with gambling or casinos or sport betting, but no, you're absolutely wrong. It's our future, the future of money. During such conversation, the example of Nokia and Apple comes to my mind. Let me remind you that in 2007, Nokia occupied almost the entire market of mobile phones and be the first there. But after the new digital era, they didn't accept as the company these changes, and Apple took their place. And now Apple is one of the most popular companies in this realm. So here is an important lesson for you. Digital transformations happens regardless of your personal opinion. It happens based on what's the best for our society, what's the best for us, for humanity. And my question to you today, what do you want to be, Apple or Nokia? While my assistant, and at the end, I would like to give everything and everyone here the real bitcoins. Please, colleagues, yeah. And I think these bitcoins, unfortunately chocolate bitcoins, will symbolize the first step into the world of cryptocurrency, yeah. And while my assistants are giving bitcoins to you, let's go back to the person I mentioned at the very beginning. the person who don't know, the creator of the Bitcoin, under the nickname Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who he is, and nobody knows where he is now. But think about who that person could be, like for 5 seconds, who that person could be. And I think, as for me, it should be the president of some country, which would be beneficial to suppress the domination of the dollar system and introduce its own new currency. And which country this president is, you decide for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Gor, for immersing us into the wonderful world of not only money, but chocolate. This was very nice, thank you. Whoever owns the information owns the world. I suppose that each of you has at least once heard this famous quote. Barely could pure money make rich people either happy or wealthy if they had not made any important acquaintances beforehand. Why is networking so significant nowadays, and how do you deal with it? Everything in Deni Elmurzaev's presentation.
Hello everybody, I'm so happy to see you all here, beauties, OGs. My name is Deni Elmurzaev, and I suppose that I shouldn't be the one to present myself because I'm not a narcissist, so I'd better pass my word to Maria.
Sure, I'll try with great pleasure. So Deni Elmurzaev is the third-year student of the International Economic Relations faculty, and he specializes on business analytics. He is a book lover. He has been the representative of the attention. I wanted to say внимание, but attention. He has been the representative of the Mgimo football team for 2 years, and now he's the head of the Vayna community. He boxes on regular basis and plays chess. And moreover, he's a very charismatic person. He's also a polyglot. He speaks 5 languages. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. To start with, Maria said that I was representative of Mgimo football team, and here is Oraz Atаев. 100% that he considers himself as the best football player here. Am I right, Oraz? Or maybe left? Okay, no jokes anymore. No need to answer, Oraz, because I will change your mind. So, it's okay. So on the right screen, you can see that our team, especially thanks to me, won 2 out of 6 games. Look, on the right screen, you can see that our team succeeded in these games in which I didn't participate because of the red card. One more time. Especially thanks to me, our team succeeded in 2 out of 6 games. On the right screen, you can see that our team won these games in which I didn't participate because of the red card. No jokes anymore. So let's cut long story short. I forgot. I'm also going to get a red diploma. I see that some of my friends are surprised and shocked a little bit. Take it easy, should clarify. I'm speaking about a master's degree. I was thinking a lot how to begin my performance, and I considered this quote to be the perfect one. Whatever money does not solve, big money does. If big money can deal with it, connections can. Today I'm going to tell you about the real miracle, the power of networking. Networking is not just about connecting people, it's about connecting people with people, people with ideas, and people with opportunities. Networking gives access to information, agree that people who have a lot of acquaintances have greater access to relevant information, can exchange expertise and share solutions to some problems. Networking opens the doors, the existence of which you might have never imagined about. Oh, this one. Shall we refer to the benefits of good networking? First of all, as I have already mentioned, networking gives access to information. People with good contacts can obtain knowledge from others. This allows them to adapt best practices and learn from other people's mistakes. The third one is that networking making it's easier to get things done and gives a lot of benefits. For those people who are planning to build a serious career, it should be a real lifestyle. I didn't forget the text. I just have to answer my mother here, you know. I will continue my performance while answering my mother, if it's okay. People who are interested in building useful contacts tend to constantly grow the right connections and regularly maintain them. This can be called the key skill of networking. Last but not least is building confidence. While putting yourself out there and meeting new people, you are effectively stepping outside your comfort zone and building such great skills like self-confidence that you can take with you wherever you go. Let's see some examples. We don't have to go far. The most vivid example is Anton Pinsky, who recently came at our university to speak. The first person to invest in his restaurant was the father of his classmate at Mgimo. Stop. Why am I even telling you this? For you all, as for Mgimo students, it should be obvious that that you can communicate on a daily basis with the future elite of our country and not only. Here you can see some of the most popular and successful graduates of our alma mater. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, the President of Kazakhstan, Tokayev, and just a good guy, Deni Elьmurзаев. So, I would like to share some tips with you for effective networking. Seriously, tips? It was the last time I asked ChatGPT while preparing. I asked ChatGPT for help while preparing my presentation. But anyway. Anyway, first impression, as we all know, is very important. It takes a mere 7 seconds to make a first impression, and it is often influenced by implicit attitude of which people are unaware. When first meeting someone, nonverbal language is just as important as the words you say aloud and the way you look alike. For this purpose, I would like to recommend you a very interesting book that was written by ex-FBI agent Joe Navarro. This book describes crimes that were solved just because of body language. So, thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Deni. This was, unfortunately, I should say that this was our last speaker, but only for today's conference. We are grateful to each of you for sharing this wonderful event and evening with us. We hope that those presentations were really beneficial for your future ideas, career, and food for thought. Let's Talk is always waiting for you here for our other interesting events and next conference, which are of course annual. So thank you, always waiting for you, and stay tuned. Thank you.